Operation Wonder Weapon, Book 1, Chapter 13. Quarantine. The quarantine barracks was dim with despair. Wooden partitions penned the cursed away from the rest of the camp, as though shame were contagious. Soldiers lounged outside the wire, staring as though at a zoo. Inside, Ray sat on the edge of a cot, snout wrinkling, tail twitching in frustration. Larry hunched beside him, hooves fumbling with a mess tin. He dropped it again, the clang ringing in the silence.
Dang it!
Larry muttered, voice muffled by his muzzle.
Can't even hold a tin right.
Ray reached for it, but before he could, laughter erupted from outside. A group of fresh GIs leaned on the fence, grinning.
"Hey, Bronco, give us a neigh!"
One shouted. Another cupped his hands and whinnied, high and shrill. The others laughed, pounding the fence with their palms. Larry's ears flattened.
Ignore them,
he whispered. But the soldiers kept at it, louder, crueler.
"Come on, horsey boy, do a trick! Yee-haw!"
One tossed a crust of bread into the crude shelter.
"Come eat from my hand, sea biscuit!"
Ray's fists clenched, his teeth bared. He went to tell them off, but the wrong sound broke from his throat, half curse, half beastly snarl. The laughter doubled.
"There it is! Hear that? The freak knees!"
Larry tried to rise, but his hooves slipped on the cot. He crashed to his knees, a choked whinny bursting from him. The sound made the GIs howl with laughter. Larry's chest heaved, eyes burning. And then, humiliatingly, tears cut through the fur on his snout. The guards at the gate didn't intervene. To them, this wasn't cruelty. It was containment. Then came a new voice.
"Enough!"
The guards straightened. Major Ellison stood in the mud, hands on his hips, face like thunder.
Kessler's requested subjects for an antidote trial. These men come with me.
There was hesitation, but the guards opened the gate. The GIs muttered, drifting back with sheepish grins. Ray helped Larry to his feet. Larry's legs trembled, but he managed to keep upright, ears pinned, eyes hard. Ellison led them out, past the fence, past the staring eyes. He waited until they were away from the barracks before speaking. Ellison's voice was grim.
Kessler's work is promising, but the antidote's a long way off. I couldn't watch them keep you penned like animals. You'll stay under my watch. I'll find work for you. Safe work. Things that matter.
Larry's ears twitched, his voice low.
And Nick?
Ellison's silence was the answer. Across the way, Nick strained against a harness, dragging a supply cart through the mud, his eyes dull, but humanity shone in them. His battle wounds covered in antiseptic and patched with tar. Ray's fists clenched. Larry looked down, throat working. Then suddenly he blurted,
But maybe it doesn't have to stay that way. I've been studying those papers, the thermic resonance reports from Castel del Monte. I don't understand all of it, not yet, but if resonance is how the curse works, maybe it's also how we undo it. If Kessler will let me, I want to work with him, help push it forward.
The words tumbled out, eager and raw, a fragile spark against the gloom. Then his voice cracked, softer.
If I can learn fast enough, maybe Nick won't have to stay like this. None of us.
Ray put a hand on his shoulder, steadying him.
One thing at a time. We get through today, then we fight for him tomorrow.
I'll bring you to Kessler, see if you two can work on those notes.
Though Ellison could rescue them during the day, Ray and Larry had to return to quarantine at night. The cursed lay on their cots, ears twitching at every sound from the camp outside. Through the thin boards came the voices of the new men, loud, easy, full of hope.
60 more days, then I'm out.
One GI bragged.
Rotation back stateside. Gonna see my girl, buy her a ring. I've been deployed 3 years and I'm finally going home.
Another laughed.
60 days? Heck, I'm at 43. Got it marked on the wall of the barracks. Boys will have to carry me onto that ship.
More laughter, talk of baseball games, cars waiting in garages, mothers promising feasts. Their words floated like smoke, warm, ordinary, unscarred. Ray lay staring at the rafters, jaw tight, velvety nostrils flaring. Beside him, Larry shifted, his hooves fumbling against the blanket. At last he whispered, voice raw.
We'll never go home, will we?
The words hung in the dark.
They're not even going to send our corpses back.
A soldier muttered bitterly.
That's not true.
He bit back.
I saw them. They're burying every deceased beast and mutant in mass graves. They're going to report us all as missing in action. We're already dead to them.
Larry pressed his muzzle into the crook of his arm, shoulders trembling. Ray reached for him but stopped short, hand curling into a fist. There was nothing to say, nothing to fix. Outside, the new boys laughed again, counting down their days. Inside, the cursed lay in silence, knowing theirs would never end. Bait. At Schattenhall Castle, an iron door groaned open, echoing down the cold stone corridor. 2 guards shoved a child inside, no older than 10, thin, clothes torn from weeks on the road. Stefan stumbled, catching himself on the rough stone floor.
I didn't do anything!
His voice cracked, half plea, half defiance. The guards didn't answer. The door slammed shut, bolts sliding into place. The rattle of their boots receded, leaving silence. Stefan pressed against the bars, calling again, weaker this time.
Please, I didn't do anything!
No answer. After a while, he sank onto the cot, head bowed. The single window above was narrow, but through its bars he could see a sliver of sky. Stars blinked faintly in the dark, sharp against the cold air drifting in. He hugged his knees, staring up at them with hollow eyes. The silence stretched. Then his lips parted, whispering to no one in particular.
I just want to go home.
The night beyond gave no reply, but the stars shone on. The cell was small, damp, and bare. A cot, a bucket, a slit of a window set high in the wall. For the first few days, he railed against the door.
I didn't do anything!
He cried when the food slot slammed shut.
Let me out!
But no answer came, only the scrape of bolts and boots retreating. Days passed. Meals were pushed through without a word. He ate them quickly, at first in anger, then with dull resignation. The only voices came from the corridor beyond the bars, guards leaning against the wall, talking as though he weren't there.
My grandmother swore by it. A star, the brightest star in the sky. If you speak your wish out loud, it carries.
Pah, just stories.
Maybe, but the old rhyme made it work. How did it go?
Another voice, sing-song, mocking.
Star light, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might, has the wish I make tonight.
Stefan pressed his hands over his ears, but the words stuck anyway. The next night, they spoke again.
I saw it once myself. Winter sky, sharp and clear, bright as a lantern. Sirius, they call it. Strongest star in the heavens.
And you just ask it?
That is the trick. Out loud, where it could hear you. But only if you've nowhere else to turn.
Stefan interrupted their conversation with pleading. They barked him back to silence. By the fifth night, Stefan was speaking less, even to himself. The rhyme echoed in his head, unshakable. Through the window slit, the stars blinked faintly, too far to matter. He hated them for their distance, hated the silence after the guard's steps receded. But when Sirius finally climbed into the sky, larger, brighter than the rest, the words spilled from him before he could stop them, hoarse and breaking.
Star bright, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might. Please just take me home.
Exhaustion overtook him. He curled on the cot, whisper fading to nothing. Sleep dragged him under. The stars outside burned on, silent, patient. Stefan slept, lips parted, the whisper of his wish still clinging to the air. A pale glow stirred in the darkness. At first it was only a shimmer through the bars of the window, like moonlight caught in dust. Then it swelled, pooling across the floor, until the small cell glowed with silver-blue radiance. A woman stepped into being as though the light had woven her together, wings like veined glass, hair shining gold, a gown the color of the night sky itself during a full moon. The wand in her hand gleamed faintly, trembling with restrained power. The boy stirred, blinking awake. His eyes widened.
Are you?
She knelt beside him, her presence filling the air with warmth and calm.
You wished.
She said softly, her voice like a lullaby.
And so I came.
He clutched at her sleeve.
Please take me home, please.
Her smile was gentle, sorrowful. Then she lifted the wand, and it fizzled. Sparks scattering like fireflies that guttered out before touching the walls. She frowned, testing the air. Again, she lifted it, and again the light broke apart uselessly. Her wings twitched, her eyes narrowed. Something was wrong. Then a hum increased, low, thrumming, crawling into the bones of the room. Panels hidden in the walls pulsed faint red. The boy flinched, covering his ears. The glow of her wand guttered again, crushed by the dissonant resonance, flooding the cell. She staggered, wincing against the force. The door clanged open. Boots stormed in. Floodlights snapped on, drowning her radiance in harsh red. She faltered. The field held her fast, numbing her limbs. Soldiers moved with practiced precision. The wand was wrenched from her grasp, her light dimming under the weight of their devices. They shoved her down with ease, her face confused, fearful. She had never experienced weakness. The boy cried out as he was dragged away, protesting.
9! Don't hurt her!
He was pulled from the cell. The door slammed shut. Now she was alone, stunned, off balance. Her beauty still undeniable, but her power was bound. Her glow flickering against iron and hum. From the corridor, measured footsteps approached. Writer, clipboard in hand, eyes fixed on her like a scientist gazing at a specimen.
Fascinating,
He murmured, stepping into the light. In the morning, Stefan blinked against the sudden light as the cell door creaked open. His heart leapt. The fairy! But instead of her glow, only guards stood there, stern and silent. Rough hands dragged him out.
Come on,
One muttered.
you're done.
He stumbled into the corridor, head twisting back. Through the iron bars of a new cell, he glimpsed her, wings pressed tight, her radiance dim under the red hum of the emitters. She did not fight. She only watched him with sorrow in her eyes.
9!
He cried, struggling against the guards.
Don't leave her, you can't!
A hand clamped over his mouth. He was shoved forward, past coils and buzzing devices, past Ryder's cold gaze as the man scribbled notes without lifting his head. Out through the fortress gates, into the raw night air. The guards released him at the roadside like refuse, shoving a crust of bread into his hands.
Go. You're free.
He staggered a few steps, staring back at the looming walls. Inside, he could still feel her light, muted, suffocating under iron. He clutched the bread to his chest, tears cutting through grime. They had used him, trapped her, but she had come. The boy turned toward the road, trembling. He got his wish. He was free. Scars. The Texas horizon was bruised purple, a storm rolling in from the west. Wind stirred the dust around the pickup truck where the fairy godmother leaned, binoculars raised, her skirts fluttered against the bumper. Elbows braced on the hood as she scanned the mesas. Ashburn leaned on the other side, notebook in his lap, pretending not to be jittery about the thunder muttering in the distance.
See anything?
Not yet,
she murmured.
but he's close. I can feel the resonance, humming like a string about to snap.
Ashburn looked over. For the first time, he noticed her gloves weren't on. They sat folded neatly on the hood, and her bare hands gripped the binoculars. The skin was puckered with scars running up her fingers. They looked surgical, deliberate. His breath caught before he could stop it.
But what happened to your hands?
She lowered the binoculars, eyes still fixed on the horizon. Her voice was steady, almost conversational.
A dungeon, men who wanted information, a fellow with a penchant for scalpels.
She flexed her fingers once, the scars catching the fading light.
They thought to break me. They failed, but the marks remained.
Ashburn stared, throat tight. He'd thought of her as imperious, amusing, even fussy at times, but not this. Not a woman who had endured torture and carried it with such calm.
I didn't know,
he said softly.
Of course you didn't.
Her gaze finally flicked to him, eyes sharp but not unkind.
Your world believes fairy tales end at the ball. They don't ask what comes after midnight.
For a moment, the storm wind carried only silence between them. Ashburn found himself straightening, almost ashamed of the way he dismissed her as fluff. He cleared his throat.
You're tougher than anyone back in Washington could imagine.
Her lips curved faintly, not quite a smile. She pulled the gloves back on, one finger at a time.
I didn't feel tough through any of it. I just did what was within my control. That's all that matters.
The thunder cracked overhead. She lifted the binoculars again, eyes gleaming.
Now, Harold, let's drive closer, see if our horse makes an appearance.
Ashburn nodded, this time without complaint. Ashburn gripped the wheel tightly, squinting into the wind as the storm started to overtake them.
Dust devil,
he muttered, nodding ahead, where a thin column twisted across the flats.
Nasty weather trick.
But the fairy godmother leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Within the swirling grit, faint and fleeting, was the silhouette of a horse, mane tossing, legs tearing through brush.
There!
She pointed sharply.
After it!
Ashburn blinked at her.
It's wind, ma'am, not a...
Drive, Harold!
she snapped. With a groan, he yanked the wheel, sending the truck bounding off-road. Weeds thumped against the fenders, rocks jolted the chassis, and Ashburn's teeth rattled in his skull. The dust devil seemed always just ahead, the phantom horse flickering in and out like smoke.
Closer!
She shouted over the roar.
I'm trying not to kill us.
He barked back. She yelled out the window.
Mighty beast, I would speak with you.
It glanced at her with contempt and ran harder. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the dust devil unraveled. The horse image shredded into grit and vanished. Ashburn hit the brakes before they careened into a ravine. Silence fell, broken only by the ticking of the engine. Then they heard a persistent hiss as the truck began to lean to one side.
Flat tire.
Ashburn groaned. He smacked the wheel.
Brilliant. Chasing ghosts in a sandstorm.
The fairy godmother sat back primly, unruffled.
Not a ghost, a sign. The Mustang knows we are hunting, and it knows we are close.
Ashburn climbed out, muttering as he went to wrestle with the jack.
I am definitely retiring after this.
The tire was patched, the tools packed away. Back on the road, they sat in the cab again, wipers beating a frantic rhythm against sheets of rain. Water poured down the windshield in silver rivers. Inside, the air grew thick. Both had eaten too heartily at the trading post. Windows cranked tight against the downpour. There was no escape. Ashburn shifted in his seat, tugging at his collar.
Those Navajo tacos. They settle quick, don't they?
The fairy godmother sat primly, chin lifted, pretending she hadn't noticed. But her nose wrinkled ever so slightly.
It is fortunate the storm has closed us in. No one else need suffer.
Ashburn tried to breathe shallow.
Ma'am, if this truck explodes, history's gonna blame me.
For a while, the storm did the talking, drumming on the roof, wind buffeting the cab. At last she turned, studying him.
Tell me, Harold, what did you do before the war found you?
He blinked, caught off guard.
Me? I filed reports, balanced budgets, civil servant, 30 years, Maryland. It wasn't glamorous.
He snorted.
You'd have hated it.
Her lips curved faintly.
Not at all. The world runs on such things, even if it never notices.
He glanced sideways.
And you? What happens after you find your Mustang?
Her gaze softened.
I hope to return to Europe, to undo what has been done, to help the man who saved me, to free those soldiers before it's too late, to get my wand back.
The cab thundered, with the sound of the rain, steady and relentless. Ashburn shifted, suddenly uncomfortable with how serious she'd become.
Well,
he said at last, forcing a smile.
Guess we better pray this truck holds together long enough to get you there. Don't light any matches.
She smirked and folded her hands over her lap.
It will, one way or another.
The wipers kept time, and the storm roared on. Mustang Trap. The morning broke sharp and clear, mesas painted gold. At the trading post, 3 ranchers saddled their horses, coils of rope hanging at their sides.
You folks are lucky,
one said, tightening his cinch.
You came through last night, left tracks fresh as ink.
He spat in the dust, eyes narrowing at the trail.
We'll drive them into the box canyon. You stay back. Don't spook him too soon.
Ashburn muttered under his breath as he clambered into the truck.
Yes, let the professionals handle it. Fine by me.
The fairy godmother watched primly, unimpressed by the smell of leather and horse sweat, but her eyes glittered with anticipation. By noon, they were ready. Brush had been dragged to choke the canyon mouth, the truck idling at the rim. The ranchers fanned out across the flats, whooping and cracking reins. Then he appeared, the Mustang, white mane streaming, hooves striking sparks, eyes lit with wild fire. He thundered across the sand, and for a dizzy moment, the plan worked. The riders herded him straight toward the canyon. It became apparent now just how massive this horse was. Built like a Mustang, but the size of a draft horse. Dust boiled. One of the ranchers swung his lasso high, rope hissing through the air. The fairy godmother gripped the truck's railing, heart quickening. Ashburn covered his face with a rag, coughing in the dust. The rope fell true, cinching around the stallion's neck. A cheer rose, cut short as the Mustang surged forward. For a breathless instant, the rope held. Then the horse's body shimmered, like heat haze over stone. The loop slid loose, falling to the ground as if it had never touched him. The stallion wheeled, eyes burning like coals, and leapt, higher than any beast should, clearing the canyon rim in a spray of sparks, vanishing west. Silence fell. The ranchers sat dumbstruck, lassos dangling. Ashburn poked his head out of the truck window, blinking.
Was that supposed to happen?
The lead rancher muttered a curse.
Never seen anything like it. He ain't natural.
The fairy godmother smoothed her skirts back into order, voice low.
Not by force, not by cage. He is no common beast.
Ashburn wiped sweat from his brow.
So what? We wait for him to walk up and introduce himself?
She kept her gaze on the horizon, where dust still swirled faintly.
No, we must give him a reason to.
The trading post yard smelled of hay and horse sweat. A weathered rancher adjusted his hat and studied the fairy godmother as if deciding whether she was worth the trouble.
You chase him again, you'll lose him,
he said flatly.
You can't rope a ghost. You gotta let him come to you. Horses know your heart. Come at 'em loud, they bolt. Come at 'em still, they get curious.
As one accustomed to speaking freely with animals, she felt advice from this mortal was dubious. She folded her arms.
And how does one earn a beast?
You don't catch a Mustang, you earn him. Quiet, steady. Show him you're no threat and no coward. If he steps toward you, don't flinch. Let him smell you. Don't grab. Wait for him to say yes.
Ashburn muttered.
Sounds like dating advice.
The rancher ignored him.
And if he does let you close, you'll need to sit him. That's where you'll fight. It's dangerous. Strong men have been paralyzed by their injuries.
The fairy godmother's lips curved faintly, as though the notion of fighting a horse amused her.
You would have me mount him?
Not just mount. Hold on. He'll buck, twist, rear, anything to throw you. You stay in that saddle till he quits. That's when he knows you're the one in charge.
She scuffed her boot thoughtfully.
Just endurance.
The rancher gave her a look.
Exactly.
The rancher squinted at her skirts, then shook his head.
He'll never stick in that get-up. He'll have you tangled in cloth before you're even on his back. You'll need pants.
Pants?
The fairy godmother's eyes narrowed as if he just uttered blasphemy. A few minutes later, a pair of worn denim jeans was produced from a trunk at the trading post. Ashburn nearly choked with laughter as she held them up, aghast.
You cannot be serious.
Dead serious,
the rancher replied.
You want to ride, you wear what riders wear. Pants were invented for horse riding.
With imperial dignity, she disappeared behind a screen. When she emerged, the jeans clung awkwardly to her frame. The cuffs rolled up several times, the boots scuffed and mismatched. She tugged at the waistband with visible distaste. The cotton plaid shirt was a horrendous green and brown color. Ashburn wheezed, half bent over.
Oh heaven, somebody paint this for the history books.
She fixed him with a glare sharp enough to silence him mid-laugh.
Harold, not another word.
Ashburn,
He muttered, still smirking. The rancher only grinned.
Now you look the part. Now let's see if you can play the part.
The trading post corral was little more than a circle of sun-bleached boards and dust, but it might as well have been a classroom. Horses shuffled restlessly inside, their ears twitching toward the short stranger. The fairy godmother stood ramrod straight at the fence, hands fussing with her attire.
So, you will teach me how to parley with the beast.
The rancher leaned against a post, hat pulled low, chewing on a stalk of dry grass. His face was leathered by sun, eyes sharp with patience, born of long miles on the range.
Not parley. Horses don't care about pretty words. They care about how you move.
He pointed at the gelding pacing inside the corral.
Say him, watch his ears. If you march at him, head high, arms flying, he'll bolt. If you creep like a snake, he'll bolt. But if you walk steady, chest open, eyes soft, he'll start to wonder.
She frowned.
You make it sound like diplomacy.
That's all it is, but it ain't your tongue doing the talking.
I can speak to that horse as easily as I speak to you. Why waste time with this physical negotiation?
The corner of the rancher's mouth quirked.
You probably can, but what I'm gathering from all this magic legend stuff is that Mustang out there ain't really a beast. It's a test, a guardian of the lasso. And so he's gonna make you go through all the motions to prove yourself worthy.
He gestured toward the gelding.
Go ahead and give it a try. No cheating. Do it without your magic talk.
With a sigh, she stooped between the rails and the fence. The gelding snorted, circling. She walked toward him, chin lifted. The horse pinned his ears and bolted to the far side. The rancher spat.
Too proud. You're walking at him like a general reviewing troops. Drop your shoulders. Soften.
She shot him a glare, then tried again, this time slower. The gelding eyed her warily, but didn't flee.
That's better.
The rancher murmured.
Now stop. Turn your back a little. Let him come to you.
Her brows knit, but she obeyed, half turning away. Dust curled at her hem. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, the gelding snorted and edged forward, step by step, until his breath stirred her sleeve. The fairy godmother's lips curved. She did not flinch as his nose touched her hand. The rancher whistled.
Well, I'll be darned. Took me months to teach greenhorns that trick.
She lifted her chin again, regal once more.
I am Fay. I am accustomed to animals accepting me.
Good,
the rancher said, vaulting the fence. He took up a rope bridle hanging from a peg and pressed it into her hands.
If you want to sit that Mustang, you'll need to get close enough to slip this on. Saddle comes later, if at all. You'll likely go bareback the first time.
She weighed the bridle in her fingers, eyes glinting with calculation.
Not conquest, invitation.
Exactly,
he said.
Once he lets you touch him, the real fight begins.
She smiled faintly, the look of a woman already planning her victory. The desert lay hushed beneath a sky of hammered bronze. Heat shimmered in the air, but no cicada sang. No crow called. All was still. And there, across the flats, stood the Mustang, cornered again, but not trapped. His mane lifted like a white flame in the windless air. Sparks crackled faintly from his hooves when he pawed the ground, and his eyes burned like twin embers fixed on her. They had tracked him down, cornered him, but didn't press. The fairy godmother got out of the truck at a distance and slowly approached. Ashburn clutched his collar, whispering,
That's no horse. That's judgment.
The rancher hushed him.
Let her work.
The fairy godmother stepped forward, her hands and the bridle draped in one arm. Jeans chafed against her legs, the borrowed boots too stiff, but her stride was steady. She moved as she had been taught, shoulders softened, gaze calm, each breath even. The stallion's ears flicked, his head tossed, his body quivering with restrained fire. She raised her hand. The Mustang allowed her close, a miracle in itself, until her fingertips brushed his muzzle. For a heartbeat, he stilled. Then he screamed, a sound like tearing steel, and ripped backward. The bridle slid uselessly through her fingers. He wheeled, sparks flying, and for a terrible moment it seemed he would vanish. She stopped, waited, turned half aside as the rancher had instructed. The stallion's breath sawed in the stillness. His fire-eyed gaze raked over her. Then, slowly, he edged back toward her. She tried again. This time she slipped the strap partway over his head before he reared, twisting free. The bridle clattered to the ground. Dust swirled around her as he bolted several paces, snorting. Her jaw tightened. She did not pursue. She waited. Minutes stretched long as hours. The Mustang circled, pawing, but came again. Curious, unwilling to let her go. The third time, she caught his muzzle firmly, hand steady on his nose. He tossed, but she held. With slow care, she slid the strap higher. Sparks danced on her sleeve, burning holes in the cotton, but she did not flinch. The stallion froze, trembling with fury. For a breathless eternity, they stared at one another. Then, at last, he bowed his head. The bridle slipped into place. The fairy godmother exhaled, her lips curving into a faint smile. She pressed her palm against his hot, lathered neck.
Now you are seen,
she whispered.
And if you allow it, you are mine.
From the ridge, the rancher tipped his hat. Ashburn sagged against the truck door, pale with awe and fear. The Mustang's eyes blazed brighter. This battle was won, but both knew the greater fight was yet to come. Up close, the Mustang was massive, his withers nearly level with her head. His back broad as a warhorse carved from marble. Up close, he looked less like an animal and more like a storm given flesh. The fairy godmother rested her hand on his neck, feeling the heat rising through her glove. Sparks still danced faintly along his mane. She glanced back at the rancher.
How does one mount a mountain?
You don't,
he said.
Not all at once. Let him get used to you. Lean your weight. Show him you're steady, not a threat.
She nodded once, jaw set. She coaxed him toward a rock so she could reach, then placed both hands against the Mustang's withers and leaned. The stallion shifted, stamping once, muscles twitching under her touch. But he did not bolt. She eased off, then leaned again, pressing more firmly this time. The horse snorted, tossing his head, sparks falling like fireflies from his mane. She whispered softly, words no mortal could hear, a lilt of old fey tongue that soothed like water on stone. Ashburn clutched the edge of the truck bed, pale as parchment.
She's going to get killed.
Not as she keeps her seat,
the rancher muttered. Again, she leaned, this time lifting a foot to press against the horse's side, mimicking the climb. The Mustang shivered, but held. Slowly, deliberately, she took a hold of a fistful of mane and draped herself halfway across his back, her body lying along his spine. He bunched, trembled, but didn't throw her. Dust curled in the air. The fairy godmother slid back down, landing lightly, then mounted half across again. The Mustang stamped, eyes rolling white, but she spoke in that low, musical cadence until his breathing steadied. The third time, she swung her leg all the way over. For an instant, she sat astride, awkward, stiff in borrowed jeans, but balanced. The Mustang went rigid, every muscle quivering like drawn bowstring. Ashburn's mouth was agape, certain they had victory. The rancher muttered,
"Here it comes."
The stallion erupted. He bucked, reared, twisted with impossible force. The fairy godmother clung, hair flying, legs clinging feebly. Ashburn yelped, ducking behind the truck as dust and sparks exploded around them. The first throw sent her flying into the dirt.
My heavens, she's broke her back.
Ashburn started. The ranch hand stopped him.
She's not human, Jack.
Ashburn.
No, it means... never mind.
The rancher waved him off. She rose, brushed herself off with regal disdain, and strode back. Again she mounted. Again she was flung. Into a thorn bush this time, which she emerged from with twigs in her hair and blood on her sleeve.
Again,
she growled. The third time she stayed on longer. The Mustang's fury lit the canyon like a storm. Sparks, wind, a scream that rattled stone. He twisted, leapt, slammed sideways into the cliff wall. Still, she clung, her laughter rising wild and fey. At last, the stallion slowed, lathered and heaving. His sides streaked with steaming foam. His head lowered, eyes burning, but no longer defiant. The fairy godmother sat tall astride him, looking small like a child on his bulk. Her smile fierce, she laid a hand on his neck.
Now,
she whispered,
you are broken, but not defeated.
Ashburn collapsed against the truck, gasping.
I think I just had a heart attack.
The rancher tipped his hat, awe plain in his voice.
Well, ma'am, he's yours.
The Mustang's fire dimmed at last, his head lowering in submission. His eyes still burned, but no longer in defiance. And then, the air shivered. Something coiled into being at her side. A length of cord made of braided leather, patterned with the diamond scales of rattlesnake skin. Faint rattling whispered along its length, as if 1,000 tiny tails were still hidden within. The smell of dust and venom clung to it, sharp and primal. The fairy godmother took it in her hand. The lasso hummed with power, ancient, wild, alive. Light flared around her, burning away the borrowed jeans and tattered shirt. In their place shimmered regalia, both Western and unearthly. A broad-brimmed Stetson that shadowed her eyes, a long duster that snapped in the wind, boots that gleamed like polished obsidian. The fringe of her coat rippled like starlight, the silver conchos along her belt winking like constellations. Ashburn nearly keeled over.
Good heavens! She's Annie Oakley if she crawled out of Revelations.
The rancher tipped his hat, awe plain in his weathered face.
She's now the successor of Pecos Bill.
The Mustang reared once, sparks cascading from his hooves, and then dissolved into smoke, vanishing as if he had never been. The broad hat, starlit duster, and celestial boots were gone. She stood once more in the borrowed jeans and stiff ranch boots, tugging at the waistband with clear distaste. Only the lasso remained, coiled loosely in her grip. The fairy godmother smiled faintly, testing the weight.
He is bound to me now. When I call, he will come, as will the regalia.
In her hands, the lasso dimmed, appearing to mortal eyes as a simple, weathered coil of rattlesnake hide rope, ordinary enough to hang from a saddle or sling from a belt, until she summoned its true power. Ashburn, still pale, looked her up and down.
So now you've got a magic horse you can pop in and out of existence, and a wardrobe that travels with it.
Indeed,
she said, coiling the lasso neatly at her side.
At last, I have magic in hand again.
Specimen. The chamber thrummed with the dampeners, a low hum that made the air heavy. The blue fairy sat within the iron cage, wrists and ankles shackled with silver-plated iron. The iron chains fed into 4 pulleys outside each corner of her box. Her light dimmed, wings half-folded like stained glass dulled by ash. She was stunningly beautiful, golden hair tumbling down her shoulders, ending in curls, irises like blue lightning, skin and lips supple, immaculate. Her light blue dress looked like a window into space as stars winked within. Ryder stood outside, notebook open, pen poised. He studied her not as a woman, nor an angel, but as a specimen.
Taxonomy.
He began, tone flat.
How many of your kind exist? Are you singular or one of a class?
Her eyes lifted to him, calm.
We are many, brought here by the touch, born of the first dawn. Some serve light, some shadow. We are called as the world calls us.
He wrote briskly. Subject reports multi-class species. Allegorical terms light and shadow suggest mythological encoding, not biological taxonomy.
Generational turnover.
He pressed.
Do you reproduce, inhabit?
Her lips curved faintly.
We do not procreate. We are born from places of pure wilderness. We are called into being by longing and fade when forgotten.
His pen moved. Ephemeral cultural constructs, existence dependent on host belief, parallel to mimetic persistence models. He did not look up.
Hierarchy. Who commands? A council? A matriarch?
Her wings stirred faintly, dim light tracing the iron.
We do not command, we serve. Each wish given is not power lost, but power shared. That is our order.
The line of his mouth tightened. Absence of hierarchy equals anarchic structure, likely rationalization for inability to coordinate, not sustainable long-term. He turned a page crisply.
And your opposite, dark fae, as you call them, their function?
Her gaze lingered on him.
They answer despair as I answer hope. When hearts turn to cruelty, they are fed. Their chains are chosen.
Ryder's pen scratched harder. Binary opposition, symptomatic of moral projection, suggests psychological dualism, not independent species. At last, she tilted her head, voice quiet as dew.
You call yourself a seeker of truth, but it is not truth you seek. It is silence. You long for death to be the end, yet tremble at the chance it is not.
Ryder's pen moved steadily, without pause. Specimen continues reliance on metaphor. Psychological manipulation noted.
You fear not oblivion,
she went on.
You fear judgment, that your life will be weighed and found wanting. So you set yourself upon the throne. You dissect what appears divine, hoping if all is reduced, you will never be measured.
The pen did not falter. Subject projects morality upon interrogator. Response categorized as defensive mythologizing. Her gaze lingered, searching.
Do you think you will escape? That the ledger will never be opened?
He turned another page, ink scratching without variance. Specimen repeats eschatological themes, underlying cultural residue likely from human imprinting. Silence stretched. Her wings glowed faintly in the iron-dim air. She seemed to sigh, the sound like wind through glass.
If you are wondering why you,
he said, tone even, almost courteous,
how we arrived at this time and place, it began elsewhere.
The blue fairy lifted her eyes.
I discovered your construct,
he continued.
Pinocchio, though he no longer answers to that name. Captain John Zimmerman.
Her eyes flicked up with interest.
Pure chance,
Ryder said.
He walked right into an active thermic research. His power manifested spectacularly.
He studied her face, measuring.
And that is where my curiosity began.
He took a step closer to the cage.
Why?
He asked plainly.
Would a being such as yourself expend so much power to indulge the sentiments of one old man?
Her eyes were riveted on him, but they revealed nothing.
There are orphans in abundance,
Ryder went on.
Children already born, flesh already capable of growth, inheritance, continuity. Providing one would have produced more good at a fraction of the cost.
Her brow creased faintly.
So why enchant a wooden puppet?
He tilted his head, genuinely puzzled.
Why invest so much effort to render him flesh and blood, only for him to grow up ordinary, and then die wooden?
That last word landed oddly. Her head turned fully now. He allowed himself a thin, precise smile.
You find that confusing,
he said.
You expected a different outcome.
Still, she said nothing.
We captured him,
Ryder continued, voice calm, factual.
And we put that raw thermic current to proper use. We recharged the Fey Matrone's wand.
Understanding moved across her face like a shadow passing over water.
The loss of power,
Ryder said,
left him as he was beneath the flesh. Wood, dead, inert.
He watched her carefully now.
That is how we arrived here. I followed his story, his provenance, and it led me to you.
Emotion flickered, worry, calculation, something close to fear. But she veiled it as quickly as it came, her expression smoothed, her light dimmed, controlled. She did not speak. Ryder's smile faded, replaced by irritation.
No denial,
he observed.
No correction.
He straightened, turning the page in his notebook at last.
Very well. Let us proceed.
He looked up again, pen poised.
Provenance. Your wand. How is it made?
Her expression stilled.
Composition, core material, power source.
Her lips pressed together in silence. Ryder's pen scratched anyway. Specimen refuses disclosure. This asserts tactical value of wands. Resistance noted. Methods of compulsion to be explored. He did not look up.
2 of these instruments are in my possession. Both exhibit activation patterns, but remain locked. You will yield their secrets eventually. Nothing remains concealed forever.
Her gaze lingered on him.
Some things are not yours to hold.
Everything,
Ryder replied evenly,
is subject to scrutiny.
He closed the notebook, slid it into his coat, and nodded once to the guards.
Proceed.
Iron hinges groaned. The cage walls separated and set into recesses in the floor. At Ryder's signal, the guards hauled the chains leading to her silver cuffs taut, forcing her down until her face pressed the cold wooden panel, wings straining upward. Then, the panel was lifted by 4 men and set on sawhorses, creating an instant table. Green irises glowed faintly in the shadows at the far end of the chamber. Maleficent leaned against the stone, watching in silence, her raven cocking his head at the activity.
Expose the dorsal structure.
Ryder instructed. An aide took shears to the delicate silk of the fairy's gown, slicing it away from her back. Her wings shuddered as cold air met bare skin, light flickering weakly against the iron hum. Another aide prodded at the base of the wing with a charged metal rod. She inhaled sharply, but no cry escaped. The iron in the metal began to blister her skin. Ryder bent close, eyes narrowed.
Cartilage, bone analog, tendon anchoring. Record stress response at base.
A technician wheeled forward an X-ray apparatus, tubes glowing faintly. Ryder gestured.
Prepare for imaging, focus on wing joints. I want to know if these are appendages or extrusions.
The fairy's fingers curled, but she spoke no word of protest. Maleficent's staff clicked once against the stone. Her lips were curved in a faint smile, but her eyes betrayed a flicker. Not amusement, but something edged, a shadow of recognition. Would this be her someday? Ryder's gaze stayed fixed on the fairy's back, on the tremor of her wings as the chains strained. The machine hummed to life, the chamber filled with light and the iron hum of the dampeners. Lab rat. The municipal hospital no longer smelled of sickness, but of chemicals. Boiled roots, tinctures, mineral salts, and ethanol burning in lamps. Chalkboards lined the walls, covered in half-legible equations. Orderlies moved between tables like students in a classroom, carrying jars and recording ratios. Kessler stood over them all, sleeves rolled, hair wild. His spectacles slid down his nose as he barked over the bubbling glassware.
Steady! Measure every drop. This isn't soup, this is salvation.
At the far end of the room, Larry sat stiffly on a cot. A nurse held up silver cup to his velvety lips, the bitter tincture burning as it went down. His horse ears twitched, his mane clung damp to his neck. He nodded gratefully for the help as she set the cup aside. Kessler was at his side instantly, notebook open.
Symptoms?
Larry shook his head.
The ears, the tail, the hooves, still here. No change, of course.
He glanced down, nostrils flaring.
But...
He forced a cough, gave some test shouts, screamed a couple times, startling the workers. He actually smiled.
My vocal cords have stopped fluctuating. I can't neigh if I wanted to.
Kessler scrawled furiously.
Progression arrested. Not a cure, but prevention. If we can concentrate the active compound, it may create immunity to future broadcasts, enough to protect civilians and soldiers, even if they come into contact with contaminated rations that haven't been purged from distribution.
Larry nodded once, jaw tight.
Then we scale it. Pills, tonics, whatever we can manage. No one else should end up like me.
Kessler's gaze softened, for just a heartbeat, then snapped back to the chalkboards.
We will, but protection is one piece, understanding is another.
He gestured sharply.
Prepare the resonance fog.
2 orderlies hurried forward with a jury-rigged contraption. A copper drum fitted with vents, tubes coiled around a heated plate. Mineral salts had been layered inside, an attempt to mimic what Larry had described from the Naples Museum. He leaned forward as the first wisps hissed out. Fog clung low to the floor, shimmering faintly under the lamps. Kessler adjusted his spectacles, noting with disappointment there were no motes of light around Larry.
Well, Adams, what do you smell?
Larry's large nostrils flared, ears swiveling forward, his face twisted.
Closer this time. Sulfur, copper. Not clean enough, though. At the museum, it was sharp, like lightning in your lungs. This is weaker, missing something.
Kessler spun back to the chalkboard. Soldiers with scientific backgrounds scrawling formulas.
Trace minerals. The resonance requires precision. ESS has perfected this, but we will not remain behind. Next trial. Refine composition until it matches field reports.
The attendants turned off the valves, stopping the fog, and rolled the contraption away. An orderly muttered,
"But, sir, what's the end use of this?"
Kessler snapped the chalk down.
End use? Knowledge. The Reich has turned thaumaturgy into a weapon. We will turn it into an antidote, into protection.
Larry closed his eyes and whispered bitterly,
"And maybe into hope."
Major Ellison's office smelled of ink, damp paper, and wet horse. Ray sat across from him, papers stacked neatly at his side, his ears swiveling every time a typewriter clattered in the next room. His tan snout wrinkled as he pushed another form toward Ellison with steady, furry hands.
"You'll want to sign this one, Major,"
Ray said, voice dry.
"Unless you want another 50 men showing up at your door asking why their blankets never arrived."
Ellison chuckled, stamping it with a weary hand.
Glad I brought you in from quarantine. At least this way, you keep the wolves from my door.
Before Ray could answer, a runner entered and saluted.
"Priority telegram from the States, sir."
Ellison unfolded the flimsy sheet, reading quickly. His face flickered, then steadied. He read it aloud for Ray's sake.
New power source confirmed. Potential aid to Subject Z. Securing for future deployment. Hold fast.
Ellison exhaled slowly, setting the page aside.
The fairy godmother. She's found something.
Ray's tail thumped twice against the chair.
"Help is coming for us. And John."
Yes,
Ellison said firmly.
it is.
That evening, Ray and Larry walked the muddy path to the quarantine paddocks. Lanterns swung over the fences, shadows crawling across the straw. Nick stood tethered with the other horsemen, harness still strapped across his shoulders, sides flecked with sweat. His ears flicked when he saw them, eyes bright, despite the exhaustion.
"Evening, partner,"
Ray said softly. He reached into his coat and pulled out a bundle of gum, 10 sticks unwrapped and pressed together into a thick wad.
"Scrounged it off the supply sergeant. It's not much, but it'll keep your jaw busy."
Nick's nostrils flared, and he bobbed his head, taking the wad between his teeth. He chewed with slow satisfaction, tail swishing once. The nicotine withdrawal had been brutal for Nick. His incessant chewing on anything he could get in his mouth had tipped his friends off. Larry leaned on the fence, watching quietly.
"Not much of a hit, but better than letting you chew your harness to bits."
Nick's ears flicked in agreement, his eyes crinkling at the corners in something close to a smile. The three lingered there in the lamplight, sharing quiet company. No speeches, no plans, just the steady rhythm of chewing, the creak of leather straps, and the simple comfort of being remembered. Compound ready. The hospital basement hummed with the sharp clatter of a field teleprinter. Wire spools fed into the machine, the staccato tapping echoing like gunfire. A corporal hunched over the keys, sweat on his brow as Kessler dictated, clipped and deliberate.
Message for War Department. Washington. Priority 1. Begin.
The corporal nodded, fingers ready. Kessler.
Compound isolated. Source. Galanthus nivalis. Common snowdrop. Alkaloid functions as preservative. Blocks curse progression if ingested prior to transformation. Cannot reverse existing cases. Recommend immediate introduction into ration system. vehicles, coffee, chocolate, gum, canned meats. Trace amount sufficient. Repeat, trace amount sufficient. Samples dispatched by courier.
The corporal rattled the last words into the machine. The tape spat out, wound, and was fed into the transmitter. The room held its breath as the line whined, carrying the message west, across cables and relays. Of horses or men? The air was thick with smoke and frustration. Casino was rubble, Anzio nearly lost, and Naples HQ was running out of options. A major slammed his hand on the map.
We're out of men. Casino's chewing divisions like meat. At Anzio, they nearly shoved us into the sea. Every clerk, every cook, every last man is going forward.
Major Ellison cleared his throat, his voice steady.
Then let my men go.
The room froze. A colonel scowled.
Freaks in the ranks? You want to see panic? Imagine a wine company watching their comrades spread a muzzle mid-charge. They'll break faster than under German fire.
Kessler spoke up, voice rough from too much tea.
Not if they've had the tincture. The progression's halted in every subject we've tested. Their condition is stable.
Stable?
Another officer snapped.
Look at 'em. Ears, tails, hooves. You call that stable?
The officer hesitated.
No pun intended.
From the corner, Larry stirred. His voice carried low and bitter.
Stable enough to bleed for this city. Stable enough to endure with no rotation. Stable enough to endure being treated like pariahs.
They fought for this city when others broke.
Ellison shot back.
Chambord, Adams, Lars, they held Naples at its worst. They deserved to be treated as soldiers.
The colonel sneered.
One has hooves instead of hands. Another's mute as a post. You'll put rifles in their mouths, Major?
Kessler leaned forward, eyes burning behind his spectacles.
Not Adams. He stays here. He and I are working on the Nazis' Thermic notes. You want hope for your men? No one touches him.
Agreed,
Ellison said quickly.
No one disputes the cure.
The room rumbled with grudging assent. Even the harshest skeptics knew that if Kessler found a way to stop the curse, he'd be more valuable than 10 regiments.
Then who?
The senior officer demanded. Ellison turned to where Ray stood against the wall, not flinching under the weight of their stares. His ears craned forward, his hands rested steady at his sides.
Men like him,
Ellison said simply.
Chambord's still a soldier. He's functional, disciplined, and loyal. He carried Naples. He and those with him will carry rifles at Casino.
A younger officer scoffed.
And when his tail spooks the man next to him?
Ray's voice was quiet, but firm.
Men are already spooked, sir. At Casino, they're breaking. I won't break.
The room went still. Finally, the senior officer exhaled.
Very well. One cursed platoon. Observation only. If they hold, others may follow. If they fail...
He let the words hang. Ellison nodded, concealing his relief.
That's all I ask.
Ray's nostrils flared. He felt like a soldier again. The room began to stir, chairs scraping, maps being gathered, when another voice cut across the smoke.
What of the other asset?
The room froze. Every officer knew who was meant. A murmur rippled among them. Someone hissed.
Zimmerman?
Another spat.
You can't mean...
The senior officer raised a hand for silence. His jaw was set, eyes hollow from weeks of failure.
The board has not cleared him,
one colonel said sharply.
He's still under suspension.
Suspension doesn't bar emergency assignment,
the senior officer answered.
We have the authority. Casino is collapsing faster than we can feed men into it. We can't afford to leave any asset benched, not even him.
A heavy silence settled. A younger major muttered,
You'll loose that thing on the line? Heaven help us all.
The senior officer didn't flinch.
God isn't helping, so we help ourselves.
Ellison's throat tightened. He wanted to protest, to plead. But the decision had already been made.